Very warm welcome in this biochemistry quiz. Friends, let us check how much marks you can gain from this test in first attempt. There are some rules for this quiz. Remember, each question carries 2 marks, and to qualify the quiz, you have to score at least 20 marks. That means 50% marks. After attempting this quiz, you may mention your marks without any hesitation in the comment box. So let us start our quiz with very first question. The very first question is, water is a. So here are 4 options: polar solvent, non-polar solvent, an amphipathic solvent, and non-polar uncharged solvent. Yes, your answer is correct. Water is a polar solvent. As water has a strong dielectric constant, it has a polar nature, and that's why it dissolves all polar molecules and often called as universal solvent. So the next question is, the HOH bond angle in water molecule is. These are 4 options: A 107, B 104.5 degree, C 109 degree, and D 120 degree. So the answer is 104.5 degree. The water molecule possesses 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs, and that's why the lone pair repels more strongly to the bond pairs, and that's why the bond angle of HOH is reduced 104.5 from 109, which is of tetrahedral geometry. So the third question is, which of the following is the most abundant biomolecule on the earth? So the options are A lipids, B proteins, C nucleic acids, and D carbohydrates. Yes, the correct answer is D, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are probably the most abundant biomolecule on the earth. One of the carbohydrate, that is cellulose, is found in every plant and which is considered as a most abundant biopolymer. Protein, lipid, and nucleic acids are less abundant than the carbohydrates. Next question is, buffers are mixtures of. So the options are the A strong acid and strong base, B strong acid and weak base, C weak acid and their conjugate base, and D weak base and their conjugate acid. So the answer is C, that is weak acid and their conjugate base. Buffers are the mixtures of weak acid and their conjugate base which reduce the change in pH. Next question is, which of the following is not example of a weak acid? The options are A carbonic acid, B sulfuric acid, C lactic acid, and D acetic acid. Yes, B sulfuric acid. Lactic acid, acetic acid, and carbonic acids are weak acids, and these acids are often found in organisms, whereas sulfuric acid is a strong acid. The next question is, an endergonic reaction is. There are 4 options: A proceeds spontaneously, B does not require activation energy, C overall release energy, D overall requires energy. Yes, the correct answer is D. Overall requires energy. It does not proceed spontaneously. It requires energy, which is called as activation energy. An exergonic reaction release energy, but the endergonic reaction requires the energy. Next question is, biologically, which of the following has the highest redox potential? So these are the 4 options: A carbohydrates, B proteins, C ammonia, and D oxygen. Yes, the correct answer is D, oxygen. Oxygen has the highest redox potential. That's why in electron transport system, it acts as a terminal electron acceptor. Next question is dash 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 is an example of a disaccharide. These are the four options: A. Lactose, B. Glucose, C. Galactose, D. Fructose. Yes, answer is A, that is lactose. All others are monosaccharides and are hexose sugars, while lactose is a disaccharide which is made up of glucose and galactose. So the next question is the number of possible D-stereoisomers of a glucose are. These are the four options: number A 2, number B 4, number C 6, and number D 8. Yes, the correct answer is D, that is 8. Monosaccharides occur in D and L stereoisomeric form. The number of possible stereoisomers can be calculated. Formula n raised to power 2 or n square, where n is the number of asymmetric carbons. So here in this case, the number of asymmetric carbons are 4. That's why the total number of stereoisomers are 16, out of which 8 are D stereoisomers and 8 are S stereoisomers. The next question is, which of the following is not reducing sugar? The options are number A sucrose, B maltose, C glucose, and D lactose. Yes, the correct answer is A, sucrose. Reducing sugars are those sugars which have a capability to reduce metal ions like copper or iron, and these sugars have a free carbonyl group which is present at anomeric carbon. So all the monosaccharides are reducing sugars, whereas maltose and lactose are the disaccharides which are also reducing sugars. But in the case of sucrose, the two carbonyl carbons, two monosaccharides bind with each other, and that's why it is a non-reducing sugar. So the next question is, the general test for the detection of carbohydrates. These are the four options: A. Folate assay test, B. Virate test, C. Barfoot test, and D. Arsenal test. Yes, the correct answer is Barfoot test. That is option C. Folate test and Virate test are the tests which are often used for the estimation of proteins, whereas the Arsenal test is used to estimate RNA. Barfoot test is usually used for the detection of a carbohydrate. So the next question is, the polysaccharide found in cell of crab and endoskeleton of insect is. These are the four options: pectin, chitin, cellulose, and chondroitin sulfate. Yes, the correct answer is B, that is chitin. The endoskeleton of crab and insects, as well as the cell of most of the fungus, possess chitin in a major polysaccharide which is made up of N-acetyl glucosamine. The next question is, a heteropolysaccharide among the following is. The options are number A insulin, B cellulose, C peptidoglycan, and D amylopectin. Yes, the correct answer is peptidoglycan C. Insulin is not a polysaccharide, it is a peptide, polypeptide. Cellulose is a polysaccharide but is a homopolysaccharide made up of only glucose molecules. Amylopectin is also a homopolysaccharide which is made up of glucose units only, but peptidoglycan is a heteropolysaccharide which is made up of N-acetyl glucosamine and N-acetylmuramic acid. The next question is, which of the following are the major functions of carbohydrates? These are the four options: A. Storage, B. Structural framework, C. Transporting materials, D. Both storage and structural framework. Yes, the correct answer is D. Both storage and structural framework. The carbohydrates acts as a fuel in a living organisms for obtaining energy. It can be stored in our body, and there are some polysaccharides like cellulose, peptidoglycan, which gives structural framework but of carbohydrates in transporting of materials. This is the function of proteins. That's why the correct answer is storage and structural framework. The next question is, which of the following monosaccharide is the majorly found in the human body? So the four options are A. D type, B. L type, C. both D and L present in equal quantity, D. none of these. Yes, the correct answer is A. D type. Monosaccharides are found in D and L form, but most of the naturally occurring monosaccharides are in the D form, and in the human body is found in the D type. The next question is, an example of saturated fatty acid is A. palmitic acid, B. oleic acid, C. linolenic acid, and D. linoleic acid. Yes, A. palmitic acid. All others are unsaturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids are the fatty acids which possess only single bond in the fatty acid chain, whereas unsaturated fatty acids are the fatty acids which possess double or triple bond in the fatty acid chain. Palmitic acid is a fatty acid which is possessing only single bonds and is made up of 16 carbon atoms. Oleic acid is a unsaturated fatty acid which possess 18 carbon and possess double bond in between the carbon number 9 and 10. Linoleic acid is also unsaturated fatty acid which possess 18 carbons and possess two double bonds. One is in between carbon number 9 and 10 and another is in between carbon number 12 and 13. Linoleic acid is also a 18 carbon unsaturated fatty acid which possess 3 double bonds at position number 9 and 10, 12 and 13 and 15 and 16. The next question is, which of the following vitamin is not synthesized in human being? So the four options are vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C and vitamin D. Yes, the correct answer is vitamin C. Vitamin C is not synthesized in our body because the enzyme which is required for synthesizing this vitamin is not present in our body. The next question is, thiamine is. These are the four options: water soluble vitamin, fat soluble vitamin, purine base, both B and C. Yes, it is a water soluble vitamin. Thiamine is a vitamin which is type of B vitamin. Vitamin B and vitamin C are water soluble vitamins, whereas vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K are fat soluble vitamins. Sometimes you may confuse in the spelling of thiamine and thiamine. Thiamine is the pyrimidine base, whereas thiamine is a vitamin. So the spelling of thiamine is thiamine, whereas the spelling of thiamine is thymine. Thymine, thiamine means a pyrimidine nitrogenous base. So here the spelling is thiamine and it is a water soluble vitamin. The next question is, a lipid containing alcoholic amine residue is A. phosphatidic acid, B. phosphatidylcholine, C. phosphatidylserine and D. sphingomyelin. Yes, the correct answer is D. sphingomyelin. All the three, phosphatidic acid, phosphatidylcholine and phosphatidylserine, are the examples of phosphatidic acid, whereas sphingomyelin possesses the alcoholic amine residue. And now you reach the last question. The last question is, which of the following vitamin is a fat soluble vitamin? These are the four options: A. vitamin C, B. vitamin D, C. vitamin E and D. all of the above. Yes, the correct answer is vitamin C. Vitamin C is a fat soluble vitamin, whereas vitamin D, vitamin E are the water soluble vitamins. So how much you have scored? Don't forget to write in comment box. I think you have enjoyed this quiz. Thank you.